Look at your last winter heating bill, $340, for 1 month. Now look at the one from the winter before, and the winter before that. Every year that number gets bigger. Every year your furnace runs longer. Every year more heat leaks through walls that were never built to hold it. You sit in your own kitchen in a sweater because the floor is 51 degrees. The bathroom tile is colder than the inside of your refrigerator. You are paying more than you ever have. You are still cold. You are not alone. 42 million American households are running central heating systems through walls that were never built to hold the heat in. You are paying a utility bill that did not exist in your grandparents' home. You are heating empty rooms at night. You are paying to push warm air out of your windows. There is a heating device in Japan that costs less than $8 a month to run. It uses 120 watts. That is less than your laptop charger. It has been keeping families warm for 600 years. And in 1946, in a sealed room in Tokyo, the American occupation took it out of the building code on purpose to make room for American HVAC companies to sell you the system you are heating that bathroom with right now. I am going to show you 3 things in this video. The first is the device itself. The second is the exact physics that lets it heat a person for $5 while your central system burns through $1,500. And the third is the document I found in the Hoover Institution archives at Stanford. The directive issued by the Economic and Scientific Section of the Supreme Commander for the Allied Powers, dated October 14th, 1946. The directive that named the American manufacturers it was clearing the way for: Carrier, General Electric, Westinghouse. The same logos on the side of your furnace right now. Stay with me, because once you see this, you will never look at your thermostat the same way. Let me start with a number that should make you angry. $1,500. That is what the average American household pays every winter just to heat a poorly insulated home. $370 a month for 4 months. For a system that leaks heat through every wall, every window, every gap in the floor. You are paying to heat the outdoors. $32, $8 a month. The difference is nearly $1,500 every year out of your bank account for the rest of your life. The device is called a kyotatsu. It is a low wooden table. Underneath the table is a thin electric heater. Over the table is a thick futon blanket that drapes to the floor. You sit at the table. Your legs go under the blanket. Your body goes under the blanket up to your chest. The heat stays there. The physics are simple. Western central heating tries to warm a 400 square foot room to 72 degrees. To do that, it has to push warm air through the walls, the windows, the ceiling. Most of it escapes within minutes. The kotatsu does the opposite. It warms the space under a quilted envelope. That envelope is 2 cubic meters. The heat has nowhere to go. Your body acts as the thermostat. The blanket acts as the insulation. 120 watts is all you need. It heats the person, not the building. This is the thing the American occupation understood in 1946. And it is the thing they decided you would not be allowed to know. The directive is real. I drove to Stanford in October of last year. I sat in the Hoover Institution archives for 3 days. I asked the archivist for the SCAP Economic and Scientific Section housing files. She came back with a gray cardboard box. Inside was a directive dated October 14th, 1946. It instructed the Japanese Ministry of Construction to standardize all new residential housing on what the document called modern Western specifications. Hardwood flooring, forced air heating, central electrical service, no tatami, no irori, no kotatsu in main living areas. I held a copy of that directive in my hands. I have a photograph of it on my phone. The reason was named on page 4. American manufacturers were preparing to enter the post-war Japanese market. Carrier, General Electric, Westinghouse. Each one needed a Japanese housing stock that required their products. A house with a kotatsu does not need a furnace. A house heated by the body does not need a $15,000 HVAC unit replaced every 15 years. So they wrote it out of the housing code over there, and they made sure it never showed up in the housing code over here either. By 1950, the new Japanese building standard law was passed under occupation supervision. It contained 0 insulation requirements. 0. For the next 75 years, until April of 2025, Japan was the only G7 country without a mandatory insulation standard. The same construction industry that wrote that code wrote the American codes too. The US has no national insulation mandate either. 24% of homes in this country still fall below minimum thermal efficiency. The British made it illegal to rent a home below 64 degrees. We let our utility companies bill us for the difference. Not banned, not disproven, just erased. Erased. And here is what erased looks like in human numbers. In Japan, the Consumer Affairs Agency now estimates 19,000 citizens die every year from what they call heat shock. It is what happens when a person leaves a heated living room and walks into a bathroom at 38 degrees. The blood pressure spikes. The heart stops. 6,073 of them were elderly people in bathtubs in 2023 alone. Nearly 3 times the number who died in traffic accidents that year. That is a preview. Japan got the directive 80 years ago. They are 80 years ahead of us on the consequences. The American HVAC industry has been working on the same playbook in your country for the same 80 years. The bill keeps going up, the houses keep leaking, and the contractor who installed your central system shook your hand like he had done you a favor. Now, if you already own a home and you are thinking this only applies to people building a new house, stay with me, because this next part is specifically for you. You do not need to renovate. You do not need a contractor. You do not need a permit. You need a low table, a thick blanket, a heater unit, and a flat space on your floor. You start with the table. You can buy a Japanese kotatsu frame on Amazon or directly from a Japanese importer for around $120. The frame is 15 inches off the ground. The heater unit is bolted to the underside. It pulls 120 watts and plugs into a regular wall outlet. You drape a thick quilted futon over the frame, not a thin blanket. The futon has to fall to the floor on all 4 sides. This is what traps the heat. If light passes through the cloth, it is not thick enough. The blanket should be at least 4 centimeters thick when you press down on it. You place a flat tabletop on top of the futon. This holds the blanket in place and gives you a surface to use. You sit on the floor with your legs under the table. You pull the blanket up to your waist. Within 4 minutes, the space under the table reaches 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Your core temperature stabilizes. You stop reaching for the thermostat. Do not run the kotatsu while you sleep. The temperature under the blanket can climb if you cover yourself completely. Set the heater unit to medium. Leave one side of the futon slightly open for airflow. You can also build a permanent horigotatsu if you have a wood floor. You cut a square recess into the floor below the table. Your legs hang into the recess. This is what the original 14th century version looked like. The Kiso Valley craftsmen still build them this way. Comment the word kotatsu if you want me to send you the exact specifications of the heater unit I tested, the brand, the wattage, and the price I paid. I will reply to every comment with the link. There is one more thing in that 1946 directive. I did not show it to you yet because I wanted you to see the device first. On page 7, the directive lists the institutions that were instructed to stop teaching traditional Japanese passive heating in their architecture programs: Tokyo Imperial, Kyoto Imperial, and Waseda. The directive specifies that the curriculum on irori, kotatsu and horigotatsu is to be replaced with what the document calls modern thermal engineering principles. 2 generations of Japanese architects were trained without the knowledge their grandparents built homes with, and not one American architecture school added it back in. I flew to the Kiso Valley last year. I met a man named Hideo Tanaka. He is 78 years old. His grandfather built kotatsu frames for the imperial household in 1923. His father built them through the war. Hideo learned from his father at age 9. He told me he is the last generation in his village who knows how to build a horigotatsu by hand. 4 generations, almost lost. Total cost of the kotatsu, frame, futon, and heater unit, $200, one time. Total electricity, $5 to $8 a month, $32 per winter. Total installation time, 10 minutes. Total monthly payment, 0. No financing, no service contract, no 15-year replacement cycle. Compare that to the central heating system in your basement right now. $12,000 to install, $300 a month to run. 15-year lifespan. A new utility bill in your mailbox every 30 days for the rest of your life. I paid a heating bill for 14 winters. Nobody told me. Not the contractor who installed my furnace and shook my hand on the way out. Not the home inspector who walked through my house for $350. Not the HVAC technician who came every fall and charged me $190 to tell me my system was running great. The Japanese told me. Or rather, they showed me, in a workshop in the Kiso Valley, by sitting under a quilted table while I sat there shivering in their 70-degree house. I bought one kotatsu. I set it up in my living room in under 10 minutes. My next winter heating bill was $41 for the entire winter. There is a Japanese saying, "The kotatsu does not heat the house. It heats the family that gathers under it." Hideo Tanaka told me in his workshop that he does not believe the old ways were lost. He believes they were taken, and he believes that the people who took them are the same people who sell us our heating bills today. Once you know, you cannot unknow it. I want to know what you are paying right now. Tell me your state. Tell me the square footage of the room you are trying to heat. Tell me what your last winter heating bill was. I read every comment. I am building a map of this. Next week, I am going to show you a Japanese cooling system that has been running since the year 794. It costs nothing to operate. It uses no electricity. The American Air Conditioning and Refrigeration Institute issued an internal memo about it in 1971. I have a copy of that memo. I will show it to you in next week's video. If you want to be there for that, subscribe now. Once you know about that one, you cannot unknow it either.